The 10 most beautiful scenic spots in China. Number 9 is hidden at the end of a 10,000-meter dead-end road. Number 1 is so sacred that even the gods dare not disturb it. When you think of China's most beautiful scenery, do Juzhegu, Mount Huang, or the unbelievably blue Namso Lake immediately come to mind. But do you really think that this 9.6 million square kilometer land only holds the few names you've heard of? Wrong. The beauty of China isn't just a stunning first glance. It's a beauty that makes you look back 3 times with tears in your eyes. From the mysterious lake monsters of the deep mountains and old forests to the Dansha Mountains that look like a rainbow spread across the land. From phantom-like landscapes that appear only a few days a year to serene moments that even photographers hesitate to disturb. These places don't trend on social media. They don't rely on gimmicks, yet they are beautiful enough to make your jaw drop. In this episode, follow us to explore the 10 most beautiful scenic spots in China, each one more breathtaking than the last. We look forward to your subscription and likes. Number 10, the Li River in Guilin. If you ask what place can represent Chinese-style beauty, I would say the Li River without hesitation. It's not high, not far, not ostentatious, yet its beauty silences you. It's not about being stunning, but about being enduringly beautiful. It's not about shock, but about touching the heart. This river flows slowly from Guilin to Huangshan, an 83-kilometer waterway connecting countless floating Chinese paintings. The mountains are a tapestry of peculiar, verdant peaks. The river is a ribbon of jade. Standing on a bamboo raft, the sky's light and the cloud shadows flow in the water. In the distance, peaks are shrouded in thin mist. Nearby, a fisherman poles his boat. How can this be just scenery? This is clearly a segment cut from 1,000 li of rivers and mountains, placed into the real world by time. What's most special is its misty rain and ethereal quality. When a light mist pervades, the entire river looks as if it's been splashed with ink. The mountains are no longer clear, making them look even more like a painting. You can't tell if what's before you is a real scene or if someone has accidentally unrolled a sheet of rice paper. Walking through it, you feel as if you've stumbled into an ancient poem. This is also the Chinese understanding of beauty. Not intense colors, but empty space. Not loud and flamboyant, but subtle and restrained. Besides the landscape, the Li River also has a human touch. In the early morning in the ancient town of Xingping, fishing boats glide slowly on the river. A fisherman in a straw raincoat looks as if he has just stepped out of a Song Dynasty scroll painting. The scene at night, with fishing lights lit, is a quiet beauty that even photographers are reluctant to disturb. You may have seen countless lakes and rivers, but the Li River is the only place that can turn a painting into reality. Not because of how shocking it is, but because it teaches you what Chinese beauty truly is. Number 9. National Highway G219. National Highway G219 stretches for over 10,000 kilometers, making it one of the world's highest and most geographically diverse national highways. This road begins at the tropical border of Guangxi, passing through high mountains, deep canyons, dense rainforests, and barren Gobi deserts, finally reaching the glacial world of the Tibetan snowfields. It connects China's most magnificent natural landscapes, serving as a microcosm of its natural geography and a symbol of humanity's challenge to its limits. Driving on National Highway G219 is like traversing the entire geographical map of China. It starts with the lush greenery of tropical rainforests, gradually changing to the desolate and vast expanse of the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau. The road under the wheels is a mix of solid modern engineering and dirt paths on the edge of precipitous cliffs. Snow-capped mountains, glaciers, lakes, and Gobi deserts intertwine to form a multi-dimensional space. At sunrise and sunset, the interplay of light and shadow with the landforms creates a magnificent scroll painting. This route is not just a road, it's an extreme challenge. The oxygen-deficient environment at high altitudes tests the physical limits of every traveler. The variable climate and complex terrain pose severe challenges to vehicle performance and driving skills. The solitude of the uninhabited areas along the way inspires a sense of awe. Every time you pass through a perilous valley, it feels like a dialogue with the forces of nature. Along this road, many sacred places come into view. The majestic Mount Kailash stands tall, a holy mountain for Tibetan Buddhism and Hinduism. Lake Manasarovar is like a bright mirror, reflecting the blue sky and snow-capped peaks. The rippling blue waters of Pangong Tso, the second largest saltwater lake in Tibet, are like jewels on the earth. Each landscape contains profound cultural and natural significance. National Highway G219 not only serve a transportation function, but is also a link connecting history and modernity, man and nature. Traversing this route requires not just physical strength, but also a reverence for the unknown and a desire for freedom. It demonstrates human resilience in the face of nature and showcases the planet's most primitive and magnificent scenery. This road, known as the Celestial Path on the Roof of the World, is the ultimate pilgrimage for road trip enthusiasts and adventurers. It offers not just scenery, but a baptism of life, faith, and nature. This is a road that only those who truly love nature, yearn for freedom, and pursue the ultimate dare to travel. It doesn't have many tourist guides, but everywhere it hides the most primitive and shocking scenery between heaven and earth. G219 is not for everyone, but belongs to every soul that wants to surpass itself. Number 8. Zhangye's Rainbow Mountains Danxia. In the northwest of Zhangye, Gansu, lies a magical piece of land where the earth is draped in a colorful coat, forming the world-rare 7-colored Danxia landform. Here, the mountains are a layered tapestry of red, orange, yellow, gray, and white, like a palette scattered between heaven and earth. The colors are vivid and ever-changing. Strolling through this rainbow land made of rock, the distant mountains stretch on, like giant dragons winding their way through. Sunlight penetrates the dust and mist, casting onto the rock layers, and the colors gradually brighten, like ignited flames. After the rain, the colors of the mountains become even more intense. The rocks, washed by raindrops, glisten with a crystalline glow, as if they were a palette carefully mixed by nature. The layered rock textures, carved by wind and rain over hundreds of millions of years, have formed undulating ravines and peaks. Every crack, every rock layer tells a story of time. Looking down from a high point, the Danxia Mountains look like flowing ribbons of color, filling the entire field of vision. The colors roll like waves, from warm reds to cool grays. A hot air balloon slowly rises, and from the air, the Rainbow Mountains are even more magnificent. The mottled colors of the rocks and the undulations of the valleys intertwine, forming a dynamic, natural oil painting. The wind kicks up dust, seeming to carry the secrets of the ancient earth, scattering them in the air. At sunset, the setting sun casts its last rays on the mountains, and the rocks glow with a golden red light, like flames burning on the earth. The air is filled with the warmth and tranquility of nature. Tom seems to stand still at this moment. Number 7. Kana's Lake. Kana's Lake, located deep in the Altai Mountains of Xinjiang's Altai region, is one of China's most mysterious alpine lakes. The water here displays a rich variety of colors depending on the season and light. In summer, it's as clear as jade. In autumn, it turns a deep, ancient blue, contrasting with the surrounding golden birch forests, creating a three-dimensional natural scroll painting. The lake's three main bays, Wulong, Crouching Dragon, Bay, Yuelyang, Moon, Bay, and Shunxian, Fairy Bay, each have their own unique characteristics. Moon Bay is famous for its crescent-shaped water curve. The river in the bay is like a lurking dragon, elegantly weaving through the golden forest. In the early morning and evening, mist and light intertwine, and the lake's surface is like a constantly changing mirror, reflecting the myriad phenomena of the surrounding mountains, forests, and sky. Kana's Lake is surrounded by pristine taiga forests, home to a large number of rare firs and birches, the only high-latitude coniferous forest in China. The reindeer herds, and rare birds often seen in the forest add a rhythm of life to this pure land. The villages of Haimu and Baihaba along the lake are settlements for ethnic minorities such as the Tuva and Kazakh people. Their traditional lifestyles coexist harmoniously with this natural environment. The most legendary aspect of Kana's lake is the legend of the lake monster. Since the 20th century, local residents and tourists have repeatedly reported sightings of huge, unknown creatures in the lake. Although science has not been able to definitively prove its existence, this sense of mystery adds a layer of psychedelic color to Kanas and has attracted countless explorers and photography enthusiasts. Every winter, the lake freezes over. The thick ice layer and the surrounding snow-capped mountains complement each other, creating an extremely pure world of ice and snow. In summer, the lake water is warm and cool, a summer resort. In autumn, it is colorful, a paradise for photographers. With the changing of the seasons, Kana's lake displays the diversity and beauty of nature in its unique way. It is not only a collection of natural landscapes, but also a carrier of culture and legends. The ecosystem here is complete, and the ethnic culture is rich, making it a rare highland secret in Xinjiang and even China. It is a masterpiece of nature and a symbol of the human spirit of adventure. Number 6. Namso Lake. At an altitude of over 4,700 meters, Namso is like a sapphire fallen from the sky, embedded in the vast plateau of Tibet. This is one of the most important holy lakes for Tibetans, regarded as the incarnation of a goddess. The lake water is like a reflection of the Tibetan soul, deep and mysterious. Namso is not like an ordinary lake. It has a solemn aura. The lake's surface is vast and boundless. In summer, the water is deep and intense, so transparently blue that it seems to be able to absorb all worries. Unlike other plateau lakes, the water of Namso is salty. The reflection of the lake has a cold luster, giving a sense of ethereal distance. Surrounding the lake are the Nyinshan Tangla Mountains, covered with snow year-round, like a natural barrier protecting this sacred land. In the early morning, the peaks cast clear reflections on the lake's surface. The lake and the sky merge into one, making it difficult to distinguish between them. When the wind rises, ripples appear on the lake's surface. The blue color deepens in layers, ever-changing, like a different picture every second. By the lake, colorful prayer flags flutter in the wind, telling the prayers and blessings of countless believers. Namso is not only a natural wonder, but also a center of faith. Every year, tens of thousands of pilgrims walk around the lake, crossing glaciers and wilderness to pay homage to the sacred water. The tranquility here is mixed with solemnity. It is a baptism of the soul. Compared to other lakes, Namso has an added layer of mystery and religious color. It is not just a beautiful scene, but a spiritual symbol of Tibetan culture. The salty taste of the water and the cold wind of the plateau make this place seem more serious and solemn. Standing by the lake, one feels not only the shock of nature, but also endless awe and piety. Namso is a mirror, reflecting the vastness of heaven and earth, and also reflecting the human heart. The blue here is deep and pure, with the unique spiritual charm of Tibet, making it unforgettable. Number 5. Daocheng Yading. In Daocheng, Sichuan, there's a place known as the Last Shangri-La, Yading. The mountains here are like the holy mountains of mythology. The three majestic snow-capped peaks, Zayangmari, Yangmiang, and Zhiliaoji, stand tall and straight, covered in silvery white ice and snow year-round, as if guarding this sacred land. The lakes of Yading are like sapphires from the sky, embedded within. Pearl Lake and Milk Lake reflect the clarity of the sky and the reflections of the snow-capped mountains, respectively. The water is crystal clear to the bottom, sparkling, as if you can see every pebble at the bottom. The water color here is like blue tears left by God, pure and deep, giving a sense of endless tranquility. Walking on the mountain paths of Yading, the Tibetan customs are palpable. The occasional sound of chanting, accompanied by the wind-blown prayer flags, adds a touch of mystery and solemnity. In the valleys, streams murmur, wildflowers are everywhere, and the air is filled with the fresh scent of grass and trees and the coolness of the snow water, making people forget the troubles of the world and immerse themselves in the embrace of nature. At sunrise, the snow-capped mountains are dyed golden by the first ray of sunlight. The outlines of the peaks are clear and distinct. The sky gradually changes from deep blue to bright azure. All the scenery comes to life at this moment. Under the setting sun, the snow-capped peaks reflect the orange-red afterglow. The lake's surface ripples with soft light waves. Heaven and earth are filled with warmth and sanctity. Here, time seems to slow down. All the noise is buried by the ice and snow, leaving only the blue sky, snow-capped mountains, and lakes, together performing a harmonious symphony between heaven and earth. Number 4. Zhangjiajie Wulingyuan. In Zhangjiajie, Hunan, there's a wonderful world of mountain forests, known as the Kingdom of Stone Pillars of Nature. Wulingyuan here is famous for its unique quartz sandstone peak forest. More than 3,000 towering stone pillars, like giant brushes piercing the clouds, stand proudly, as if they are witnesses to the violent crustal movements of ancient times. These stone pillars have various postures. Some are as if carved by a knife and axe, straight and handsome. Others are curved like strange rocks in a painting, with thousands of forms dazzling the eyes. When the morning comes, a thin mist lingers, and the sea of clouds in the mountains is hazy. The stone pillars are faintly visible, dreamlike, as if in a fairyland on earth. The clouds and mist are like a light veil, sometimes dispersing to reveal the precipitous peaks, and then quickly drifting away, forming ever-changing pictures. Taking the Bailong elevator, you ascend rapidly to an observation deck hundreds of meters high. The view suddenly opens up. The continuous group of stone pillars is like a natural labyrinth, crisscrossing. The peculiar peaks and strange rocks of Wulingyuan once served as the inspiration for the floating mountains in the movie Avatar. The elusive clouds and mist perfectly combine with the towering stone peaks, like a fantasy landscape from another world. The morning sun shines on the peaks, like sacred torches lit between heaven and earth, inspiring awe. Strolling on the plank road in the canyon, you hear the gurgling sound of the stream and the occasional chirping of birds. The air is mixed with the moist smell of the earth and the fresh fragrance of the forest. Every step seems to be stepping into a time tunnel from 1,000 years ago, feeling the power and mystery of nature. Number 3. Mount Huangshan. After visiting the 5 great mountains, one does not care to see other mountains. After visiting Huangshan, one does not care to see the 5 great mountains. This century-old saying speaks to the unique status of Huangshan in Chinese landscapes. Located in southern Anhui, Huangshan is the personification of the immortal mountain in the hearts of countless people. It is not a towering, snow-capped peak, yet its beauty is profound and extreme, like a long landscape scroll slowly unfurling between heaven and earth. What's most astonishing about Huangshan are its myriad strange peaks and peculiar rocks. Among its 72 peaks, Lotus Peak, Bright Top Peak, and Celestial Capital Peak are the most famous. They stand tall and majestic in the morning light, appearing and disappearing in the mist and clouds, like the jade palaces where immortals reside. Some of the strange rocks look like monkeys gazing at the sea, others like a fairy scattering flowers, and some like a giant brush pen stuck into the sky. Every few steps, a new shape appears before your eyes, making you feel as if you've walked into a fantasy. The guest greeting pine is the most iconic guardian of Huangshan. It grows on the edge of a cliff at an altitude of 1,670 meters. Its trunk straight, and its branches spread out like an ancient sage extending a hand to welcome guests from afar. It is not just a tree, but a symbol of the spirit of Huangshan, having witnessed the winds and frosts of time while gently welcoming every traveler who enters the mountain gate. The sea of clouds in Huangshan is even more spectacular. Amidst the rising and churning waves of clouds, the peaks seem to float and sink, like immortal islands soaring in the sky. Looking out from Bright Top Peak, the clouds roll like waves crashing on the shore, sometimes swallowing the peaks and then suddenly revealing them again. And the four seasons of Huangshan each have their own charm. Enjoying mountain flowers in spring, escaping the heat in the summer forests, viewing red leaves in autumn, and treading snowy paths in winter. Especially after a snowfall, the entire mountain forest becomes a dreamscape covered in silver frost. The peaks are draped in white, the pines are hung with ice, and the world is solemn and pure, as if time is frozen in a single moment. Every scene makes you want to hold your breath and gaze. There is silence in the mountains, yet it speaks more than 1,000 words. With every step, you can almost hear the mountains whispering and the pines singing. That quiet shock will leave a long-lasting echo in your heart. Number 2, Juzhegu. If Huangshan is an ink-wash painting, then Juzhegu is a dream scattered upon the human world. Located in the ABA Tibetan and Chang Autonomous Prefecture of Sichuan, at an altitude between 2,000 and 4,000 meters, Juzhegu is hidden deep in the Min Mountains. It seems isolated from the world, yet its beauty is incomparable, one of the ultimate representations of China's natural scenery. Some say this is a fragment of paradise left on Earth. Others say that even the world's most advanced filters cannot restore the original colors of Juzhegu. What is most captivating about it is the water. The water of Juzhegu is crystal clear, pure as a mirror, presenting a dreamlike array of blue, green, and turquoise under the sun. The 108 alpine lakes, which the locals call Heizi, are strung together like a pearl necklace in the valleys. The most famous, Five-Flower Lake, has water so transparent it seems non-existent, yet its colors are incredibly vibrant, like an overturned paint palette. Light blue, dark green, and sapphire blue flow and intertwine. The sunken logs at the bottom are clearly visible, as if time itself has stopped at the bottom of the lake. Following the valley deeper, the Pearl Shoal waterfall is like the Milky Way pouring down, gushing out from the dense forest and breaking into millions of water droplets that sparkle with a silvery white light under the sun. It's like a scroll unfurled by the gods, writing a mysterious poem between heaven and earth. And the Noraling waterfall, that fairyland once featured in the movie Hero, also rushes down the cliff face like a crystal curtain. The wind carries the sound of the water, like nature softly humming. Autumn is Juzhegu's most breathtaking season. The colorful forests of the mountains are reflected in the lakes. Reds, yellows, greens, and oranges contrast with the cool tones of the water, turning the entire valley into a three-dimensional oil painting. The colors are intense, but not gaudy, as if someone painted it all by hand, stroke by stroke. Even in winter, this place is still stunningly beautiful. The frozen lake's surface glows with a faint blue. The waterfalls are frozen into crystalline ice sculptures, and snow falls silently in the forest, as tranquil as a dream. At this moment, Juzhegu is like a fairy tale world sleeping in ice and snow, serene and distant, yet making one yearn for it. In Juzhegu, every drop of water seems to have a soul. Every patch of forest seems to speak. There are no traces of artificial carving here. Only the most primitive and pure gift of nature. You don't need words, you don't need reasons. Just by standing there and opening your eyes, you have already fallen into the landscape. Some say Juzhegu is the temple of water, the paradise of color. But only when you truly walk into it will you discover that it is more than just beautiful. It is more like a quietly flowing poem, a retreat for the soul, a dream from which you never want to wake. Number 1. Mount Everest, Komalama. If one were to search for a place on Earth closest to the heavens, it would have to be Mount Everest. It is located in the middle section of the Himalayas, on the border between China and Nepal, and is the highest point on the entire planet, with an altitude of 8,848.86 meters. In Tibetan, Komalama means Mother of the Earth. Only when you truly stand before it can you understand the weight of this name. It is a primal majesty that comes from the depths of the earth. Viewed from a distance, Everest is like a perfect pyramid covered in snow year-round. Its peak is constantly shrouded in wind and snow. It is not an ordinary mountain. It is a symbol of belief, the eternal summit in the heart of everyone who looks up at the sky. At sunrise, as the east first brightens, the first ray of sunlight slants across the mountain. The ice and snow glow with a blue-white brilliance in the golden light. The mountain's shadow stretches out like a giant beast awakening. In the evening, the setting sun dyes the peak orange-red. The ridge, surrounded by clouds, is like a giant sword fallen from the sky, thrust between heaven and earth. Light and shadow intertwine here, and time itself seems to slow its rhythm. And at the foot of the mountain, Rongbuk Monastery and the Rongbuk Glacier offer the best viewpoint of Everest. The glacier spreads out like a carpet of ice, shattered and pale, like a herd of silent beasts prostrate on the snowfield. When the wind blows, the ice layer trembles, and the distant snow peaks appear and disappear in the clouds and mist. There is not a sound between heaven and earth, as if the whole world is holding its breath, gazing at this noble queen. Every year, climbers from all over the world come to challenge Everest. Many of them are destined not to reach the summit, but they press on without hesitation. Because for humanity, this is not just a climb. It is a questioning of one's own limits, a pilgrimage to the ultimate beauty of nature. Reaching the summit is not necessary. To gaze upon it is enough. When you stand at the foot of Everest, feel the howling cold wind, breathe the thin air, and look up at that giant peak carved from ice and snow, you will understand what true smallness and awe mean. Before it, all human clamor is erased, leaving only the most essential dialogue between heaven and earth. Mount Everest is not just about height. It is a spirit, a coordinate that all things look up to, the final destination of all scenery. Of these 10 most beautiful scenic spots in China, which one is number one in your heart? Leave a comment and let me know. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. See you tomorrow for more daily updates.